Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to announce that our minister will be arriving any moment now and request all of you to settle down. I know there's already been a slight delay, there's a lot of traffic, and he is on his way here. He should be here in another 4-5 minutes, and then everybody will join us on the dais and we'll start with the session. Request your cooperation. Please settle down. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed guests and speakers for this session are already here and will be joining us in another 2 minutes. Once they're done with the photo opportunity that's happening outside, they will be with us soon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join me in welcoming our Minister, Mr. Pabitra Margarita, Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs, Government of India, and our ministers from the BIMSTEC countries, His Excellency Mr. Damodar Bhandari, Honorable Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, Government of Nepal, and Mr. Min Min, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Commerce, Government of Myanmar. Mr. Indramani Pandey, Secretary General, BIMSTEC Secretariat, Mr. Sanjeev Puri, President, CII, and Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, CII. And without further ado, I'd like to begin with the session and invite Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, Confederation of Indian Industry, to give his welcome remarks and take the session forward.
Shri Pabitra Margarita, our Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs of the Government of India, Honorable Ministers present from the BIMSTEC countries, several government dignitaries from our BIMSTEC countries, our industry delegations from the BIMSTEC countries and India, our officials, senior officials from the Government of India, the Secretary General of BIMSTEC, Mr. Indramani Pandey, the Indian industry delegation, of course, led by Mr. Sanjeev Puri, the President of the CII. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome to this BIMSTEC Business Summit's inaugural session. A very, very significant conference which is held by CII with our Ministry of External Affairs. And it's a great pleasure to have such a phenomenal presence from our BIMSTEC countries and from India. I'd like to particularly welcome His Excellency Damodar Bhandari, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supplies of the Government of Nepal, who is here seated with us. His Excellency Min Min, the Deputy Minister of Ministry of Commerce, Government of Myanmar, Mr. Shime Shering, the DG of the Department of Industry, Ministry of Industry and Commerce of the Government of Bhutan, and Mr. Tinzo Mint, the DG of Oil and Gas Planning Department of the Ministry of Energy of Myanmar. And I also have the pleasure of mentioning and welcoming the Special Secretary ER, Mr. Kumaran, in our midst today. Ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, this is the first time that a BIMSTEC Summit, Business Summit, is being held. And we are indeed proud to be hosting it in Delhi. I'd like to also mention that this particular summit has taken a very good shape over here, which will be spread over the next 3 days. We will have 5 ministers from our countries on the BIMSTEC and over 80 plus senior BIMSTEC delegates who are participating with around 400 Indian business delegations and business delegates. And one of the things that we are organizing are 100 odd B2B meetings during the course of the next 2.5 days. We know about the important strides that BIMSTEC has done, and I'm not going to delve into it, but I just wanted to highlight for the information of our esteemed participants that besides the special ministerial plenary, we would also have sessions which will be focused on trade and trade facilitation. We have special sessions which would be devoted to women's economic empowerment and inclusive prosperity. We will have certain focused country sessions, of course, with Nepal and also Sri Lanka. And we have a major focus in this summit on a seamless ecosystem of our MSMEs in the global value chain. And another important area that we are focusing on through several sessions would be on the services sector. One area that we are also trying to really have your participation in deliberations and discussions on would be on emerging technologies, which we believe are central to our future and our progress. And we do suggest that how do we expedite the technology transfer facility. And we should be really looking at fields such as biotechnology, nanotechnology, pharmaceutical technology in the facility that we are talking. The last point that I also wanted to say that in this particular business summit, we'll work towards the objective with your support, and we'd like to institutionalize this as an annual platform, bringing together all our businesses in our BIMSTEC countries on an annual basis. And at some point in time, I'm sure we would also explore as to how we could even host this in different parts of India as well as other countries. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to once again thank you and welcome each one of you to this inaugural plenary, and a very, very special welcome to all our ministerial dignitaries who have come from other countries and our own Honorable Minister, Mr. Pavitra Margareta. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you very much. May I now request Mr. Sanjeev Puri, the President of the CII, to give his remarks, please.
Honorable Minister, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a privilege to welcome the BIMSTEC grouping to the first CII BIMSTEC Summit that will explore and enhance the economic potential of this region. BIMSTEC can be a powerful platform as a global manufacturing hub, a technology powerhouse, and a preferred investment destination. It can make significant strides in digital transformation, infrastructure development, and financial inclusion. Industry, as large economic organs of society, has a crucial role to play in fostering closer collaboration, investing in the region, creating jobs, and promoting innovation and inclusion. CII members are very keen to engage with counterparts of the business community in the region and to explore how we can drive this agenda forward. May I take this opportunity to suggest 5 areas where this collaboration and the growth of trade and investment can be examined and explored. First of all, I believe the economic integration and trade facilitation are at the core of BIMSTEC. We must work together towards reducing trade barriers, simplifying customs procedures, and harmonizing standards to create a seamless business environment. The establishment of a BIMSTEC free trade area is a goal we should strive to achieve at the earliest. Second, improving regional connectivity through integration of road, rail, and sea routes will facilitate trade. And this is particularly important for landlocked countries like Bhutan and Nepal. Third, energy security and green energy is one of the key areas of collaboration for dealing with climate change in our beautiful Bay of Bengal region. A common grid could converge our mountain economies with the blue economy and also enable us to address the challenge of energy transition together. Fourth, the region is immensely vulnerable to extreme weather events, and this demands a common approach to climate adaptation and resilience building. Joint weather stations, sharing of knowledge can help us take advanced action to adapt to floods, cyclones, drought, and other natural disasters. Fifth, given the imperatives of food security, there's a need to build farm resilience, which is the most vulnerable to climate change today. We must harness our agriculture resources to build joint agriculture research, technology transfer, and value chain development. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, we can build a BIMSTEC that is not only economically vibrant, but also socially inclusive and environmentally sustainable. This summit provides a forum to exchange ideas, forge partnerships, and chart a course for the future. We look forward to your guidance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanjeev Puri. With that, may I now turn to His Excellency, Mr. Indramani Pandey, the Secretary General of the BIMSTEC, to give his special address, please.
Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs, Sri Pavitra Margarita, Honorable Minister of Industry, Commerce and Supply, Sri Damodar Bhandari of Nepal, Honorable Deputy Ministers, Heads of BIMSTEC delegations, Sri Sanjeev Puri, President, CII, Sri Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, CII, esteemed business persons from BIMSTEC member states. Namaskar, a very good evening to you all. It gives me immense pleasure to join you all at the inauguration of the first BIMSTEC Business Summit. I commend CII for taking this path-breaking initiative to host this summit, and I thank the Government of India for supporting it. I would also like to thank External Affairs Ministry of India for its abiding commitment to the BIMSTEC, as reflected in the initiative to host the retreat of BIMSTEC foreign ministers in New Delhi last month. The External Affairs Ministry of India has also proposed a number of new initiatives, including this business summit, which will take the regional cooperation within the BIMSTEC to new heights. Since the inception of BIMSTEC in Bangkok in 1997, the critical importance of enhancing intra-regional trade amongst the BIMSTEC member states has been underlined both by the governments, but also by think tanks, media, and academic institutions. The intra-regional trade amongst the BIMSTEC member states is quite low, compared to, for example, intra-regional trade in other regions like ASEAN. Recognizing the need to overcome the challenges in impeding the growth in intra-regional trade, the BIMSTEC leaders had decided from the very beginning of BIMSTEC to give the highest priority to negotiating a BIMSTEC FTA. A robust intergovernmental mechanism comprising meeting of trade ministers and trade secretaries was put in place. They met 6 times during 1998 to 2004 and were able to conclude the framework agreement for BIMSTEC FTA. Then a trade negotiating committee was set up and was given the task of negotiating the constituent agreements under the framework agreement. 6 working groups have been formed to engage in negotiation of the constituent agreements. While the TNC has since held 21 meetings, it has still not been able to conclude negotiations on the constituent agreements. I am delighted that a ministerial plenary has been scheduled tomorrow, and I am hopeful that it will provide the requisite impetus to the stalled negotiations, and we will be able to make swift progress. I urge the trade ministers and secretaries to endeavor to conclude the constituent agreements by June 2027, when the BIMSTEC would celebrate its 30th anniversary. While we endeavor to make progress in FTA negotiations, in my view, negotiation of the trade facilitation agreement and the agreement on cooperation and mutual assistance in customs matter should be delinked from negotiation of other FTA constituent agreements and should be pursued separately in view of the contribution that these two agreements can make in enhancing intra-regional trade. During the initial years, there was also focus on institutionalizing engagement among the business communities, both among the business communities and also with the member states. However, the BIMSTEC Business Forum, which was formed in March 1998 to enhance linkages among the business communities, last met in New Delhi in July 2016. It has thus not met for 8 years. Likewise, the BIMSTEC Economic Forum, which was also established in 1998 to provide engagement between the governments and the business communities of the member state. It held its last meeting in Bangkok in February 2011. For over 13 years, it has not been reconvened. I hope that they would be revived and would be reconvened without further delay. While it's a matter of great satisfaction that the first BIMSTEC Business Summit is being held, I'm also very glad to know that it would be institutionalized and held annually to promote enduring business-to-business linkages, leading, of course, to more intra-regional trade and investments, which have been the two important goals from the very beginning. The recommendations emanating from the annual BIMSTEC Business Summit should be earnestly followed up. In this regard, it will be useful to create a BIMSTEC office within the CII with dedicated personnel, like a secretariat, for effective follow-up and monitoring of the progress in implementation of various proposals and recommendations which you would be making in your interactions. Apart from the annual business summits, I would urge CII to consider hosting sectoral business events in other BIMSTEC member states. Apart from that, CII should also consider hosting on its website a dedicated BIMSTEC trade information portal, which will be helpful for the business community. Further, I urge the BIMSTEC member state to take a quick decision on the proposal to create a BIMSTEC Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which will provide a vital platform for engagement of our industrial and trade communities, enabling them to play their critical role in promoting intra-regional trade and investments. I'm looking forward to participating in various plenary and theme-focused sessions of this summit, which are scheduled tomorrow. The Secretariat stands ready to work with the BIMSTEC member states within its mandate and capacities to assist them in implementation of their decisions and directives, aimed at promoting intra-regional trade and investments. I'm also looking forward to launch of the report prepared by CII entitled Industry Partnership for Deepening Regional Economic Engagement, which will be launched later this evening. I commend CII for preparing this report because it focuses on a completely unexplored area of industrial partnership within BIMSTEC. Before I conclude, I would like to underline that due to confluence of a number of positive factors, the BIMSTEC is poised to emerge as a vibrant regional organization in Bay of Bengal region. It has now its own charter. It has in place the requisite core and sectoral mechanisms to pursue regional cooperation. It has a functional secretariat in Dhaka. It has clearly identified sectors for pursuing regional cooperation. It has the requisite political support of its members. It's ready to engage external developmental partners. And it's ready to reform and repurpose itself based on the forthcoming report of the eminent persons group. To conclude, I would like to thank again CII for inviting me to participate at the summit and represent the BIMSTEC Secretariat. I again thank the Government of India for its support to this summit and its other initiatives to reinvigorate and strengthen the BIMSTEC. I wish the summit great success in realizing its goals. I'm looking forward to interacting with delegations from the BIMSTEC member states and business representatives. And I thank you all for your kind indulgence in listening to my statement. Wish you a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Pandey, for listing out many initiatives that could be taken by industry. And I'm sure much of what you said would be discussed in detail over the next 2.5 days. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor now to invite and request our guest, Shri Pavitra Margarita, our Honorable Minister for External Affairs, to give his special address and inaugural address for this BIMSTEC Summit.
Namaskar. Esteemed ministers from BIMSTEC member states, His Excellency Shri Indramani Pandey, Secretary General BIMSTEC, Shri Sanjay Puri, President CII, Mr. R. Dinesh, Chairman CII International Council, Confederation of Indian Industry, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, Confederation of Indian Industry, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar, good evening. It's a great pleasure to be a part of this inaugural BIMSTEC Business Conclave. The timing of this event is appropriate, coming at the days after the second BIMSTEC Foreign Ministers Retreat, which I had the honor to attend, and in the lead up to the 6th BIMSTEC Summit, which is less than a month away. I'm confident that this event will impart more momentum to the growing BIMSTEC process and underline India's commitment to it. I observed that the BIMSTEC Business Forum is bringing important representatives from the public and private sectors, policymakers and think tanks, industry and academia, trade associations, and individual investors on the same platform. Over the course of the event, your expertise and experience, ranging over a wide gamut of issues, from traditional areas of focus such as MSMEs and trade facilitations to emerging areas such as blue and mountain economy, would give a positive impetus to increase trade between our nations. The economic focus is in line with the direction of our leaderships. I'm also encouraged by the fact that the gender mainstreaming is part of the agenda of the Business Summit. It is in line with Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi's vision of development that is not just women-centric but also women-led. Women-led development was also an integral component of India's G20 presidency, and it is imperative for sustainable development. The BIMSTEC region accounts for almost 25% of the world population, abundant in resources, both natural and human. Greater collaboration amongst us promises to be a shining example of the global South coming together for the shared goal of development and prosperity of our peoples. At the BIMSTEC Ministerial Retreat last month, we recognized the importance of capacity building, economic cooperation, and connectivity. Such a focus would infuse new energy and commitment into our cooperation. Our discussions focused on the areas of trade, health, space, digital public infrastructure, and societal exchanges. We emphasized on the need for a shared and ambitious BIMSTEC vision, building on our complementary strengths and amiable membership. People, ideas, and cargo have traversed the lengths and breadths of BIMSTEC countries for centuries. This continues to be reflected in not just the strong cultural ties, but also the shared values that brings the region together. How we leverage this shared history and ethos into inclusive and sustainable growth for all in the region, as envisioned by BIMSTEC leaders, is the challenge facing us today. The space for rapid, sustained growth is shrinking in today's world that is marred by many challenges. Unequal globalization has resulted in the over-concentration of technology and manufacturing, rendering a lack of resilience and reliability in supply chains today. Supply chains have fragmented and control over them is becoming increasingly weaponized. BIMSTEC should play a big part in technology-led re-globalization effort that provides alternate pathways and possibilities. The after effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have still not completely worn off. Conflicts have increased these imbalances. Our part of the world is at acute risk of climate change-related disruptions. Risks of debt, inflation, and foreign exchange imbalances are also a consequence of unsustainable practices. A business as usual approach is fraught with risk. Friends, BIMSTEC holds a very special significance for India. It lies at the heart of our neighborhood first, Act East, and Sagar policies. The last decade has given India strong growth along with fiscal prudence, appetite for reform, able governance, progress in digital and physical infrastructure, rapid and appropriate skilling of our population, and a vibrant spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship. In India, we are prioritizing skill development, capacity building initiatives to harness the potential of our youth. To this effect, we have today 1,600 global capability centers which are fast evolving into strategic assets driving innovations, digital transformation, and business value. Learnings from these can be of tremendous advantage to the whole region. Another aspect that would strengthen BIMSTEC collaboration would be a commitment towards much larger infra-regional trade figures than what we do currently. And the business community plays an essential role in this regard. Another aspect is laying the basis of our digital connectivity so as to ensure that the region reaps greater digital dividends. India's digital transformation has been enabled by safe, secure, trusted, accountable, and inclusive digital public infrastructure. India's DPI is respectful for personal data, privacy, and IPR. Adoption of the same by the region will foster ease of doing intra-BIMSTEC business exchanges. Friends, the 6th BIMSTEC Summit that will happen later this year in Thailand will play a role in laying a roadmap for future of our cooperation. I have already stated that there exists vast potential for BIMSTEC countries to develop and expand their trade and investment basket. A future free trade agreement will strengthen infra-regional trade. Enhanced agricultural cooperation, including the use of innovative technologies and private sector participation, can play a greater role in finding solutions for the common challenges facing us. A cost-effective and robust connectivity, and a robust connectivity ecosystem amongst BIMSTEC nations will allow for a smooth flow of goods, services, technology, and people across the region. Public-private collaboration in maritime transport, waterways, railways, road connections, and air cargo operations will increase trade efficiency in the region. More collaboration between the industry and BIMSTEC countries in science and technology, including in biotechnology, nanotechnology, information and communication technology, space technology applications, agriculture technology, food processing, and pharmaceutical technology will be beneficial. Our heritage, culture, and traditions provide for many avenues of increasing tourism potential, including via specialized tourist circuits and ecotourism. Industry participation would assist in enhancing cultural cooperation through increased participation in the development of Buddhist tourism circuit and temple tourist circuit in the BIMSTEC region. Friends, the true spirit of Vishwa Bandhu is reflected in our government's philosophy of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. This is also a commitment abroad, as seen in the developed projects and that we have undertaken. India is committed to lean on its growth story to fast-track means of unlocking opportunities and potentialities for the entire region in these uncertain times. One of the tasks of the CII BIMSTEC Business Summit would be to formulate how each country could leverage its unique strengths to buttress the regional economic system, make it more stable and predictable, ensure its reliance and prosperity. In this endeavor, I recommend looking beyond the role of the government in forging linkages and partnerships. While the governments of the BIMSTEC member states are engaging to provide the right policy framework, private sector also plays a key role in this collective journey towards shared prosperity. I'm confident that the engaging discussions of this forum will result in suggestions that are concrete, practical, and actionable. I wish you all the best in your deliberations. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the release of the CII study on BIMSTEC economic cooperation. May I request our Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs and the other dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the honors, please. And may I request all of you to kindly hold it up for a photo opportunity, please. And may I now request President CII to hand over a token of appreciation to our guests today. May I Request you to please hand it over first to our Minister, Mr. Pavitra Margarita. And to our Honorable Minister from Nepal. To our Honorable Minister from Myanmar. And to His Excellency Mr. Indra Mani Pandey, Secretary General BIMSTEC Secretariat. May I request Mr. Banerjee to kindly conclude the session, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Excellency. Thank you, our Honorable Minister, Mr. Pavitra Margarita, for sparing your time and for your very insightful address, which covers many aspects of business and goes beyond business and gives us the responsibility in the business community to see how we can deepen our engagement with the BIMSTEC countries. We will, of course, through the study which you have kindly released just now, and through the sessions, capture these thoughts and see how we are able to come out with a proper action plan and get back to you and to our respective institutions in our countries, BIMSTEC countries, and work closely with our counterparts. I would like to also thank the participation of all our BIMSTEC countries who are represented here today, our honorable ministers, and of course our high commissioners and ambassadors. Very, very thankful for their presence. Ladies and gentlemen, there are very, very detailed sessions which I had spoken about earlier, and with the inputs that we have got now from our dignitaries, it gives us a great momentum to take this business summit forward. I'd like to particularly also thank our Secretary General BIMSTEC, who has mooted many ideas for collaboration between our businesses. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the conclusion of this inaugural session, and I would like to once again thank our honored dignitaries, both on and off the dais, for participating so warmly. Thank you very much. Thank you.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude the inaugural session. I'd like to invite all of you to please join us for dinner in the hall itself. Dinner will be served in Darbar Hall itself. Request you all to join for dinner. You're invited. Thank you.